So, hi, my name is Will, and some people had some questions about how to save your GIFs and the different settings that you can use. So, I'm going to show you. So, first we're going to open up Finder. We're going to ignore all this stuff and go straight to the frames that you probably already have by yourself. So, start with opening up your file inside of Photoshop. Yeah, I'm sorry. Sometimes this takes a really long time because when you're using a laptop, it's especially excruciating to like this loading page. Yep. Okay. So, first off, in order to do a GIF, you have to make sure that your window workspace is set to motion, and that you have animation, info, and layers open in the window. So once you have this, your layout should look like this, although in certain cases you might convert it to timeline, which looks similar, but different. Let me show you. It kind of looks like something that you would use to edit a video. So, sorry, imported too many. I stick with frame, which is down here. And so, no delay. And you're going to want to put make frames from layers, and it'll take all of these and put them down here. And I like to do delay by 0.1 seconds, so that because when you upload it to Tumblr, it tends to speed up. And also make sure that down here it's clicked it forever instead of once, because if you only have it at once or 3 times, it'll only play once or 3 times. Usually you're going to want to edit your canvas size, especially in these cases, so that you don't have these weird borders, because now those are gone. Okay, once you have your GIF, sometimes you'll need to blur the background. Like, just watch it and see if you need to adjust anything, because sometimes when they move, there's faded stuff. But on this GIF it seems fine, so I don't need to do anything. But usually you would refer to this tool, the blur, sharpen, or smudge tools, which will help you blend the colors more easily. Okay, and once you're done making your GIF, you're going to go File, Save for Web and Devices, and this window is going to pop up. Now, this is where things get a little tricky. First of all, for Tumblr, you're going to want your image size to be 500 pixels wide, and make sure that this is linked so that the other one doesn't change. So, once you have this, there's different things that you can do with this. So make sure that your image is set at GIF. Make sure that you have whatever setting you want. For perceptual, it kind of smooths it out more. For selective, it'll take away a lot of the colors that you don't need. For adaptive, it'll take colors that you already have and blend them with colors that you're supposed to have. And restrictive will completely take away all of the colors but the basic ones. And then there's different ones like black and white that you can use, which actually turns out really bad. Then there's grayscale, if you just want a grayscale image. There's Mac operating system, and there's Windows operating system. But the 4 main ones that you're going to want to stick with are perceptual, selective, adaptive, and restrictive. But I don't use restrictive that often. Okay, your colors sometimes will go to automatic, but the lowest I would ever go is 128. But I usually keep it at 256. And we can see that, sorry, let's get out of Windows. Let's go to adaptive, because this usually works out well. Then you have this thing called dither. There are 4 different types of dither. If you have a GIF that's already high quality, sometimes you don't need dither. Like if you watch this playing, it kind of needs it, but you can see that it's kind of smooth without it too. So if your video is already high quality and you import it in here, Photoshop will not need a lot of adjustments. You can just straighten it, just put no dither. But sometimes you'll need dither. What diffusion will do is, depending on the percentile, it'll take the staticky like colors over here, like in her ears and around her eyes, and it'll smooth them out. So if you go to 100%, though, sometimes you get this like grainy, like static. Like the static is still there, but it's really grainy. I don't prefer using anything above 60 unless you need to. Also, there's pattern. If you use pattern, sometimes it looks really good, like in this one. But other times, like if you take away colors, you can start to see that there's like this pattern, especially around here, and you can kind of see dots. So it kind of makes it like a pointillism type thing. But let's go back. And last is noise, which also takes up the most memory. So if you're going to use noise, like at all, make sure that you adjust it really well. Because if you don't, noise will end up making your GIF look very staticky, like in the worst case scenario, super staticky. Okay, let's use diffusion just to prove a point. Once you have diffusion on, you have it at 60, and then you see this button here. If you don't click transparency, down here, the size will be a little bit more than it's supposed to be. So if you click transparency, the size will automatically go down by about like 30 gigabytes, kbytes, I don't know how people say that. So make sure you have transparency set. You don't really need a color, but sometimes it's nice to have it set to black. No transparency dither unless you need it, and like you have a transparency part of the image like behind her. If you want to cut it out of the background and whatnot, you're going to have to use like either diffusion, pattern, and noise, which do the same thing that they do up here. Okay. Another thing that you can do is interlaced. So if you click interlace, the GIF smooths itself out really well. But you can see in the background there's still little problems with this. The problem with clicking interlaced is you notice that the size will go up a lot. I forget the percentile, but it will go up a lot. So if you're going to use the interlace option, what I recommend doing is taking this box called lossy, and what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to adjust it. You can either use this and see how it goes, but as you notice, the more that you do it, the more that the colors start to get scratchy. So I don't recommend anything above 20 at most, unless you really want to kill the color. But it's interesting because if you use lossy, the size does go down quite a lot. So if you have it at like 20, it'll go down drastically. But if the image is already set, then you don't have to worry about it. I know, you've been watching this cat for forever. Stupid Glammeow. Anyway, another option you're going to want to do, well, depending on what you're using this for, is convert to sRGB. Doing this will allow the colors to be set to the internet standard, to the Macintosh computer, to the monitor computer, or use documentation for it. This doesn't adjust it very, well, it adjusts the color, I should say. So depending on what you're looking at, I always choose internet, because the internet standard is usually what. Then if you have copyright contact information that you want to put on here, which is like the data that you can see when you like right click an image, that's all right here. I don't typically do this because I don't like watermarks, copyrights, or anything, which is interesting. Down here is the color palettes. Say you want to get rid of like a distinct color, like this blue for instance. You could double click on it and change that blue to some other color. So this is how, see around here, the blue kind of, but we're not going to do that. So we're going to delete that change, put it back to what it is. So if you ever want to change any of the colors, get rid of them, because sometimes Tumblr won't allow you to upload a GIF if it has a certain color in it, and those colors are usually like yellow and red, like any of the vibrant colors that, I don't know, for some reason that Tumblr despises. Anyway, so there's all kinds of different tools down here you can play with. I haven't really explored it too much. For quality, it's automatically set to bilinear, which will take the staticky and make it like smoother, but you have options like bicubic smoother, depending on what you want. if you're using a certain one and you need to get rid of a lot of color and you want it to look like a sprite, then you would use nearest neighbor, or if you want it smoother or sharper, depending on what you want. I try to keep it at bilinear because that's just the standard for it. Again, make sure that your stuff is set for forever, and then you can play your GIF and watch it. And this looks like pretty good quality, so I'm pretty satisfied. Some stuff that you should know is up at the top. There are different views. This would be the original, which the original always looks really nice. But when you go to the optimize, you can kind of see the difference, like in the background, around her ears. And then there's other views that you can choose where they'll tell you the settings for them, and they'll show the original compared to yours, which you can watch and do whatever else you want to do with. And then there's also this option for 4-up, and it'll show you 4 different types with standard settings that you can use. So if you wanted to, say, choose one of these, you would just click on it and that'd be done. But we're gonna go with our optimized, which we should, and then we're going to save. My battery is super low, I didn't even notice. You guys didn't tell me. Anyway, so I recommend having a folder for your stuff because I have tons and tons and tons. So let's see, this is a Sino GIF, so we're gonna go to our folder, and we're gonna label this Test Meow. Okay. And then when we're uploading it, we are going to just simply click Photo. I know I shouldn't be showing you guys this. You guys should probably already know how to do this. But anyway, you can watch. Choosing a file. For Macs, it's pretty easy. It'll automatically pop up with the latest ones that you have. So then you just type in test. Okay. Ignore me when I say that it's easy. Pokemon. Scroll up. Sinnoh. Click it. Test Meow. So we're going to put Pokemon, Sinnoh, Glameow, and then we're going to put, I used this as a test for one of my tutorials. Ignore my spelling, I am tired. Yep, so once that's done, you press Create Post, and you're done. It should upload. If not, then come see me and I will help you through it. Good day.